They say America became free on July 4th, 1776. They fly the flag, shoot fireworks, sing about liberty and justice for all. But who was all? Because in 1776, over 500,000 black people were enslaved in the colonies. Independence didn't free them. It cemented their chains. The Declaration of Independence was written by men who owned human beings. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "All men are created equal," while keeping over 600 people enslaved, including his own children. The Revolutionary War wasn't about justice. It was about power. White colonists didn't want to pay taxes to Britain, but they still whipped, branded, raped, and sold black people like property. And when black folks tried to fight for freedom, many joined the British because they were promised emancipation. After the war, most were betrayed, re-enslaved, or forced out of the country. But America called it victory, and every year since we've been told to celebrate a lie, that 1776 was the birth of freedom. But real freedom didn't come then, and for some, it still hasn't. So when they ask, why don't you celebrate the 4th? Maybe the better question is, who was actually free?
Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Menatazak with GMS Ancient of Days in Los Angeles, currently teaching with the Akim in Sherman Oaks. And today, through the Spirit, I want to get into a lesson that's titled 1776 is the same as 2025. We are still in captivity. And I know that's a lengthy title, but considering the quote-unquote holiday today, the 4th of July, I thought it was apropos to mention that when this holiday was first instituted in 1776, the so-called Negroes were still slaves. So we're sitting here talking about independence. Well, whose independence was this referring to? Okay? Because you have the prophets that are out there, the true prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, who are out there proclaiming to the true people of the scriptures, the true Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, okay, proclaiming to you that we are the true chosen nation of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and we are above these nations, okay? But we're also here to remind you that we are in this state under these nations because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments that were given to our people. And the only way we're going to be freed from that, okay, is by the Redeemer, which is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, okay? Because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments, we have to deal with the curses that befell us for breaking that contract, okay? And I bring this up to remind you Jakes out there, okay, that the true Israelites are still in captivity, okay? And we will not have true independence until Yahweh Shai returns to deliver and transform us, okay? And that's when true independence, okay, will come to the nation of Israel. We may have a semblance of peace, okay, but as the scriptures clearly say, we are yet this day in our captivity, as it mentions in Baruch, and we'll bring that out, later in this lesson through the Spirit. But I just wanted to bring this lesson out to show that our temperament should be the same as it was when this holiday, this American holiday, was first instituted. This had nothing to do with us. When I say us, I mean the true children of Israel. Okay? Now we're going to begin through the Spirit in the book of Luke. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And this is red letter, so these are the words of Yahweh Shai, and it reads, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled." Now, oftentimes when it comes to the teachings of the Hebrew Israelites, you'll notice that we'll translate the word Gentile by going through the etymology of the original word. Okay, in this case, written in Greek. okay, you'll see that the etymology of this Gentile is going to the heathen nations. Okay? Because most of the time when you read the word Gentile in the scriptures, it's speaking about Israelite foreigners. Okay? But in this particular scripture, it's speaking about the actual Gentiles. And this is saying that Jerusalem, who is a people before it's a place, okay, shall be trodden down of these Gentiles. Until when? Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And we are in that time now. Okay? The Israelites are scattered and we still remain under Gentile rule or captivity, okay, until Yahushua returns and ends this oppression that we're in. Okay? And we're in the midst of those times now, pursuing the prophecy. Okay? This is why it's important to measure the time diligently so you can know what times you're in. This is Deuteronomy 28, going to the blessings and the curses. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. It says, "And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." Okay, and this is what's taking place now. Okay, that wood, it represents Christianity and the wooden cross of quote unquote white Jesus. Okay, the stone represents Islam and the Kaaba stone and Allah. Okay, you got a lot of Southern Kingdom that are drawn onto being a Muslim, just as you have a lot of the Northern Kingdom that are drawn onto being, Christians and Catholics. Okay, these are the things that our people were forced to adopt while under servitude of these other nations. And you can see that now prevalent in these days. And that's part of the curses for disobedience. Okay, but I brought this out to show you this is a proof that our punishment continues across generations and in foreign lands. Okay, because this is the land where we were sent to serve captivity. Our true land is the land of Israel. And ultimately, the land of Canaan, pursuant to the blessings that befell our nation. But let me get the book of Baruch 3 and 8. I quoted it earlier. Let me read it. This is the book of Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. It says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to the payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power." Now I brought this out to show that this is direct confirmation that the true Israelites are still in captivity even after the Babylonian exile. Okay, and this is a prophecy that has extended to this very day in modern day Babylon. Okay, and that's why I love bringing this out, because clearly the Israelites will still be in captivity before Yahushua returned. So that should beg the question of who are those people that are in the land now calling themselves the chosen people? Because pursuing the prophecy, we wouldn't be brought back to that land until the Lord himself gathers us and takes us there. Okay, let's get the book of Isaiah 14, beginning at the top. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, beginning at the top. And the headline reads, "God will rescue his people from Babylon," speaking of Babylon the Great. But there's Isaiah 14 at the top. It says, "For the Lord Yahweh Shemashah will have mercy on Jacob," representing the southern kingdom, "and will yet choose Israel," representing the northern kingdom, "and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined unto them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." Now these strangers are the Israelite foreigners. Okay. Verse 2, it says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, for his servants and handmaids." Now this is speaking about another group of foreigners. It says, "And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were." And there's the proof. "And they shall rule over their oppressors." So the ones that we take into captivity are the ones that have us in captivity. And this is a future prophecy. Okay? And this prophecy is going to be fulfilled when the Israelites are taken out of servitude and put in their rightful place of rulership. Okay, that is another true sign of independence. Okay, having sway over your enemies. Okay, Like that quote in the movie Conan, when the ruler had asked Conan, or his general had asked him, what's the best thing in life? He answered, to destroy your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. Okay, and the general was pleased with that answer. Okay, but that's exactly what's going to take place in the kingdom of heaven under the rule of the Israelites. Okay, and this is what we look forward to patiently. Okay, let's get to Lamentations chapter 5. Lamentations chapter 5, beginning at the top. And it reads, "Remember, O Lord Yahweh Shemashai, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread," which is parabolic for Babylon the Great. Okay, some of the similitudes for Babylon the Great, which is America, is Egypt and Assyria, and this is likened unto what we suffer today in a land where it was built on the backs of slaves, Israelite slaves, just as we built the treasure cities in Egypt. Okay, Israelite labor is what makes the world go round. Verse 7, it says, "Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that does deliver us out of their hand." Okay, until Yahweh comes. This is representing the sorrow of Israel's condition in captivity, even to this day, which is a direct link to the modern condition of the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. Okay, this is what happens to us when we are put under foreign powers and systems. We are kept at the bottom, even though we are the greatest people on this planet. Okay, let's get the book of Romans 11. Okay, flowing along, Romans chapter 11, beginning at verse 25. It says, "For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in." Okay, and the reason I brought this out is to show that this is this Romans 11, that this is Apostle Paul acknowledging Israel is in a spiritually blinded and punished state. Okay, because only a small remnant was elected to get this true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding here in these last days. Okay, the Israelites as a whole are awaiting redemption, but that only comes through Yahweh Shai. Okay, and we can prove that by going back to the curses, because I keep bringing it up, but let's prove it through the scriptures, that this is what we're ultimately waiting on, to have true freedom, true independence, true redemption. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh Shemashai shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." Now, in ancient Egypt, you didn't need ships to get from Israel to Egypt. You can technically walk. So we know this is talking about a spiritual place. Okay, Egypt representing a place of bondage, which I mentioned earlier. America is likened unto Egypt, Assyria, Nineveh, right? Well, the Lord said he's going to bring us to Egypt again with ships. He's going to send us into captivity with ships, which is speaking of the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, it says, "By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." So in this place we will be sold to our enemies. But you have a lot of Christians and apologetics that come against this doctrine that say, when it says no man shall buy you, that contradicts our stance on the scriptures. But this is why, as I said earlier, we go to the etymology of words, because when you go to the etymology of that word buy, okay, it goes into redeem. Okay, so why would it say a couple of sentences above that we will be sold as bondmen and bondwomen, but then right after say, no man shall buy thee. That is a contradiction. And man contradicts the Bible. The Bible does not contradict itself. We would be sold to our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no one will be able to redeem us from that punishment. Okay, because in the laws of the Israelites, one of your kinsmen can redeem you from bondage. But the only one capable to do that through the Spirit was Yahweh Shai, which is he's going to come and do here in these last days. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, let's get Jeremiah 30 and 10. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 10, and it reads, Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, neither be dismayed, O Israel. Once again, showing that this is speaking about both the northern and the southern kingdom, who in these last days are coming back together. It says, For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. Showing you that this is about nationalism. This is about a particular seed of people, the Israelites, who are separate from the other nations of the world. The Israelites are the chosen nation, and they were the only nation that went into captivity for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, because they were the only ones given the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? Continuing on, it says, And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Okay? Well, when you read this here in Jeremiah 30 and 10, this is obviously a future prophecy of deliverance for Israel from the distant lands we were scattered, because we are currently not at rest. We just read in Baruch that we are yet this day in captivity, and our Redeemer has not yet come. Okay, but we are in the time, pursuing the prophecy, where we are about to see it fulfilled. Because Esau Edom is at rulership, but he's at the last leg of his rulership. Let's get 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9, which reads, For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That word world going into eon, meaning in the age of rulership. So Esau's age is rapidly declining, meaning that Jacob is going to be the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, the deliverance of Israel comes after the fall of Esau's dominion. Okay, so once again, this is a future event implying Israel is still under oppression, and would have to be if prophecy is to be true. Okay, we have not been delivered from our captivity as of yet. Let's stay in 2nd Ezra. Let's go to chapter 13, verse 37. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, beginning at verse 37. And it reads, And this, my son, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and their torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto fire. It says, And whereas thou sawest that he had gathered another peaceable multitude on him, those are the 10 tribes, which are carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, that land being Azareth, or America. Okay, this is speaking about the northern kingdom. All right, so Yahweh Shai, when he returns, he's going to bring both destruction and deliverance. Okay, indicating, right, that it's at the return, his return rather, that basically ends our oppression. So while everyone is popping fireworks as they're doing now, which you can probably hear in the background, okay, because I'm in the neighborhood of Jake's, they're doing that in folly and in vain, because you're popping fireworks and celebrating a holiday that had nothing to do with our people. And I'm going to end this in the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 30. This will be our closing scripture. I believe the point has been made, and those fireworks are a testament to this lesson that our people are still asleep, even unto this day. Let's see. Salakia. The book of Baruch, chapter 2, beginning of verse 30. And it reads, For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. And this is going into the hopeful elect, because only the hopeful elect is going to take heed to the things written therein when it comes to trusting and believing in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Continuing on, verse 34, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a particular seed line, right? Not the whole world. And they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Verse 35, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land which I have given them. And the fact that there's a war going on in Iran and Israel should let you know that the true people are still, to this day, not in the land. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect and exhorting to those that are just coming to this truth. I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Mekakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours of truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Manatazak. Until the next lesson, Shalom.